Hello. I make these videos primarily for myself, both as a hobby and to keep them as a keepsake. As a result, my videos tend to be sporadic, the content is quite varied, and the style is not super consistent because I'm using this as a learning vehicle. This particular video is of my 12-day fall 2019 trip across Europe. I will be experimenting with the use of picture-in-picture and the use of voiceovers. So I hope you, who's probably mostly just me rewatching this, I hope you enjoy this trip over the third year of law school Thanksgiving break.
Barry, with Doug, I'm going to Europe. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to see Kasper, and Michael, and Kelly. It's going to be amazing.
Barry couldn't come with because his visa doesn't allow travel. I flew to Germany because it's cheap from the United States. I then flew around Europe on budget airlines like the kind that we don't have in the US, with only a very small bag as luggage. I don't mind traveling that way, but I found it hard at times to stay warm enough and to keep my very limited clothing smelling okay.
What's up? I made it. I found Kelly. I'm so jet lagged, but it's gonna be fine. Fountain for cholera. Good morning. We're staying in Poland. What are we going to do today?
We're gonna go to some museums and eat our weight in pierogies.
Yes, we are. Have you had a pierogi yet?
I mean, I'm Polish. No, I haven't had a pierogi here. My mom makes pierogies every Easter.
It's a creepy smile. Biggest World War II museum I've ever seen, probably one of the biggest in the world. Museum was great. Museum was a lot. We didn't go through the Solidarity Center, but we thought we'd get the lovely view from the top. Woohoo! Yeah! That's right. Kelly's taking pictures because the view is fabulous. Why are we taking the stairs?
Because both elevators are stuck out here.
After only seeing 2 cities, I want to see more of Poland.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
At the Remembrance Site, First Battle of World War II.
Red tracksuit. I thought it was a myth. There he is. There he is. Do you see him? You saw him, didn't you? The restaurant couldn't serve beer, so they let me go outside to buy them. I bought those 2 beers for about $1.20 at a quick stop.
All right, Sopot Wobbly House. Yeah. So, Michael, I've heard something scandalous about you. For a full payment of $1.50 or something, you would not fight a swan?
How is that scandalous? Yes, I would not fight a swan for $1.50. Pay me like $25. Yes, I'll fight a swan.
25 is the price.
You gonna feed me? Look at my swagger. You gonna feed me?
airport. We don't need to be here 2 hours.
And at this point, Michael returned to his internship in Rotterdam, and I went back to Hamburg with Kelly. She's a student. We hung out in Hamburg that night, and then the next morning, before I headed to Belgium to go meet Kasper. It was kind of a relaxed night. Like, I do so much travel. This was relaxed and chill. It was good. Okay, so Kelly had to go to class. So at this point, I'm just on my own again, wandering through Hamburg. I'm not huge on traveling completely alone, so this was a little bit hard for me, but I wound up having a really great day. What you can't see from these pictures is that I am freezing all day long. Oh my gosh, the miniature museum! I am a little bit embarrassed at how much I enjoyed this, and I took a lot of footage, and I put a lot of footage in this video because it was just so cool. Like, freeze frame it on those little places. It's so cool. Now this was really wild. Wait for it. Wait for it. What? That's right. People were lined up to see this. It was amazing. Most of the planes were regular planes, and then this thing comes by. I almost didn't wind up going inside that church. I'm not sure why I trekked over to this part of town. I was really just trying to walk around and see as many neighborhoods as I could. But ultimately, I did go inside, and I'm super glad that I did because it's just gorgeous. It wasn't terribly expensive. And because it was a Monday in Germany, everyone's at work and the place was deserted. It was quite a few steps, but I enjoy walking, and I think I got maybe 30,000 steps that day. I wish the view was better, but you know, you win some, you lose some. It was still a really cool climb, and still a pretty nice view. Went down into the crypt, and I'm embarrassed to admit that I got way too excited over someone who was not Bach, but son of Bach. Shout out to the dear sweet man in this picture. I do this thing when I travel. If I see tuba players, I must have my picture with them. And he was so cool about it. So thank you to Tuba Guy in Hamburg. Okay, next leg of my journey. Went from Hamburg to go meet Kasper in Brussels. He didn't want to go to Germany because I think it's just not interesting enough for him.
I'm stinky and dirty, but I made it to Belgium. It's Kasper! I found him! He found me before I died of thirst and hunger and cold.
You came late, so
it's not my fault.
There's no food anymore, actually.
There's no more food, so I actually am going to starve.
All the restaurants are closed.
Where are we going?
We are going to the comic strip museum, but we're also gonna see the pissing boy and some other stuff.
What is the obsession with pissing?
Oh, this feels good.
I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit just how many waffles I ate while I was in Belgium, but I guess that makes sense. I couldn't really tell you what one landmark is most impressive in that country, but just generally, everything was gorgeous, clean. I had a really nice time. Except for, of course, the Starbucks in the middle of town. Even the graffiti was pretty. That tells you something. So next we went to the comic book museum. I was kind of surprised at how much the Belgians love their comics, but it was a perfect place for Kasper and I to visit because that's one of the first things we bonded over, other than our love of travel, is our love of comic books. And at this point, we started drinking. And we kind of kept drinking. Oh, look, more comic book stuff! Yay! But yeah, we basically spent the rest of the day drinking. And I would come to regret it the next day. Not so much because of how much I drank, but just the fact that I didn't drink any water. But yeah, just kind of wandering around town. There aren't a ton of super famous landmarks, so you just wander. It's good.
So, this is American sauce. See, and this is Dallas sauce. It's not ranch. I expected ranch would be American sauce, because that's what it is in China. It's very nice. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the American sauce is, but it's very nice. Did you spill on me?
Yeah. One's bacon, side white. And a pants holder for big liquor.
Casper possibly weighs as much as 30 kilos more than I do, so he can hold his liquor better than I can.
I did eventually perk up, and we headed over to the other museum and to the Atom, which is Brussels' version of the Space Needle. It was made for the World's Fair. My camera died, so here's a lot of stills. It was a good museum, not as good as the one in Germany. Still had fun. We also had mussels and went to a bookstore. And finally boarded the train and ate some onion pies to head over to The Hague to meet up with Michael. We also went shopping, and I bought this lovely coat and replaced the pants that I had completely ripped out of.
Yay, the gang's all here. Go see some museums.
I learned that there's a strong limit to how many museums I can see. And I can see a lot, but we wound up getting pretty silly while we were there, trying to find our look-alike paintings, Kasper one, and taking pictures of just random things we didn't bother to look up, and eating awesome world cuisine.
Hauge for King's Monument.
Alright.
Hauge for King's Monument.
Behind Michael just there was the Peace Palace, which was pretty cool. Relates to Michael's internship. This is a panorama, which is an old school tourist attraction that's painted. After that, we went to this scary, scary old jail where people were tortured.
What you're doing?
Then, because of course, it's back to eating, drinking, and then watching Kasper's favorite team, the Young Boys, lose, unfortunately. This might have been my favorite day the whole trip, and I wish it was because we did something incredible, but it wasn't. We just kind of walked around and saw some cool stuff. We had waffles again, and then we went on to this really pretty pier. Kasper disagreed with me that there was anything out there. Look! We went on the Ferris wheel and continued to enjoy the lack of open container laws in Europe.
The strawberry.
That's right, we just had more waffles. And then, of course, you gotta go check out the beach, because who doesn't want to check out the beach in the Netherlands, right? Beach in winter in the Netherlands.
I didn't get it. We have to do it again.
And then, to top it off, we went ice skating. We had more plans, but at this point, most of the cool stuff to see was museums, and we were kind of tired of that. So, this was a great alternative, and you can see how badly I skate, so that's fun.
Yeah. Laura, you wanna go look at station? Look at sculptures in the dark?
I ate a lot on this trip. I had a whole bucket of mussels, so many waffles, fried food galore. Later you'll see me try beef tartare for the first time. But this next food takes the cake. Pickled herring. I don't know if I recommend it, but I am glad that I tried it.
What a piece of
I can't look at it, but it's not that bad.
You can't, that's something to say. You can't look at it, but it's not that bad. Hachirma.
Ultra. It's slimy, yeah. That's the whole thing. Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
It's alright, right? It's up the sun.
On Kasper's last night, we decided to splash out a little bit since I hadn't celebrated Thanksgiving yet. We had some nice Argentinian food, and after that, we decided to go out drinking for a little bit to celebrate being alive since a terrorist attack had just happened a block away. And as all things do come to an end, I got packed up and started heading back to the US. First I had to go to Germany, but before that, of course, we had to try some beef tartare for the first time.
It's raw.
It wound up being really good. And yeah, it was a full day of trains. Not super fun, but ultimately I got to see a whole lot of the countryside, and basically every one of my trains was late, so I didn't make any of my connections, but with the help of a very friendly German guy, I did make it back, in fact, earlier than I planned. Now begins the saga of my last 2 days, since you can never have a trip that goes this well. My original flight with Lufthansa would have had me go to Hamburg and then to Frankfurt, where I would have spent a 24-hour layover. Instead, I had the idea to skip the first flight and go directly to Frankfurt, since it was closer to The Hague by train anyway. However, Lufthansa did not like that, and when I didn't show up for my first flight, they canceled my second flight. Expedia set me up with another flight for free, but one that didn't get me back in Seattle in time for my last corporate tax class of the term. Oh no! So I had the whole day in Frankfurt, and I totally wasted it. I was tired. I spent the day in my hostel bed, and I only came out at night to check out the night market and try the local currywurst.
Nein, ist nicht da. Ich muss dazu sagen, hören, haben einen.
Isn't it beautiful? The Polish Christmas markets are just not as nice. Oh my gosh. Also, it turns out I'm not a fan of currywurst. It doesn't matter where it is. US, Germany, and I don't like currywurst.
Next stop, International District, Chinatown Station.
Stop filming me. I wasn't part of this trip. Stop filming me.
Dad. They found me. I'm not going to starve and die on the streets of Seattle.
He might though.
So, that's it. Thank you for watching. All 5 of you that are going to watch this. If you've been paying attention, you might have noticed that a couple of the shots had my camera lens in the shot. That's because my old camera doesn't close or open properly anymore, and I have to open it manually. Sometimes I forget. But my next trip will be with my new camera, which is basically the same camera but not broken, because these things are awesome. Nothing shoots like a Canon. Yeah, that's it. I feel like I learned a lot watching back on this video. I think I've talked too much, so that was a learning experience, but I'm not redoing it because this thing was huge. So yeah, tune in next time for hopefully a video that I took the footage of sometime in the last year and actually get around to producing. Thank you.
Laura?